Hi everyone, my name is Lexie Bristol. I'm here to interview our birthday girl, Tiffany. We are going to be digging deeper into her theme for her birthday, which is making lemonade out of lemons. So the lemon is having to navigate the tainted or tarnished aspects of Christianity, and the lemonade is basically finding clarity and having strong convictions in your personal beliefs. Can you dive deeper into that a little bit for us, Tiffany? What would you say are some of the tarnished aspects?
I sure will dive into that. But first, thank you so much for doing this. I really respect you as a woman and what you are doing in the community. And you just give me a lot of very strong vibe. Like, I don't know all of your deep personal story, but I feel like you have also had to go on a journey and make certain decisions for yourself about what works for you. And like, when you find it, you kind of stand in it. You just give me a lot of strength energy. So I think you were like the perfect person to navigate this topic with me. So thank you for doing this. I know you're a busy lady.
Yes, I'm so grateful to be a part of this. I've always been inspired by you and the content you put out, and always here to support another woman doing her thing. So yes.
Thank you. So I think the question was, what contamination have I noticed?
Yes.
Oh, so I think the biggest thing that I've noticed is the different gray areas in the Christian faith, as far as what the Bible states is clear. And I mean, it all really boils down to love God, love people, if we're being honest. And it's a great commission to go and spread the testimony, spread your gospel. But then along the way, as organized religion came, which definitely serves its purposes, people have one body, one house to come to and fellowship and to make plans to do something for that community. It just makes more sense to do it in like an organized setting instead of, because there's like strength in numbers, so the local church is very much, I think, needed and serves a great purpose. But also what comes along with the organized part of our faith, and the part that isn't our personal relationship with God, is a lot of personal opinion and interpretation that is relayed to whoever those people are as law. And this pastor over here may say one thing, and this one over here may says another, and the Bible doesn't say either. That's just their personal conviction, and they have put it out as that is what it is. And if your personal conviction isn't interpreted as the exact same, then like there's a lot of judgment and conviction. I just noticed there was so much gray, and I think it is an issue for a lot of people, a lot of Christians, because they may feel conviction that is not being brought by God, but is being brought by man, or they may feel like they have unattainable goals to reach in their walk, in their personal walk. And it can make it very disheartening because they feel like they're not pleasing God, but it's not even that they're not pleasing God, they're just not pleasing that leadership or pleasing that personal opinion. And so that contamination has caused a lot of issues.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. That's so true. I've been in a lot of conversations recently just talking about that. And there's a Bible verse that I've been thinking a lot about, and I don't remember the exact reference off the top of my head, but in it, it's talking about sin. And there's just a little excerpt of it that says, and for that person it is. And that's something that I've been thinking a lot about. Okay, well, what is it for me? Not what are these other things being projected onto me, but what is sin for me and the season I'm in. So wow, that's good.
That is really good. What is it for me? Yeah, I love that.
Was there a definite moment that made you want to look a little bit deeper into modesty?
Okay. There was probably a couple of moments. I would say one big one that sticks out to me is there's a gospel group, Mary Mary, And one of the sisters in the group, Erica, she had posted like I don't know if it was just like some publicity photos or an album cover photo, but she posts I don't know if she posted, but she took the picture and then other people posted it, and she was completely covered, but you could see her figure. And I thought she looked amazing, but the public opinion, the comment section under these photos when they were posted was crazy. Like, I can't even think of a better adjective. Like, people were just really going in on her and like, oh, you are a gospel artist, how dare you wear something so form-fitting, and just being very like judgy. Like it was gross. Like,
Yeah.
it was just so much. I mean, it was just really nasty, because there, even if you have an opinion, you know, people are free to share their opinions. You know, everybody has one. I won't say the full thing. But there are ways to go about communicating that. And the Bible does speak of truth and love, even if it's not the truth, but it's your truth. You speak your opinion in love too. And so there, especially for Christians, there's a lot better ways to communicate what you're feeling. And, you know, just to be calling somebody out of their name or just to be saying these awful things, it just really, it made a really strong reaction in me to see how they were treating her. Just, and she was completely covered. And the second, I think, maybe big moment is when I really understood and even experienced myself, like the whole rape culture thing.
Yeah.
And just how much weight went into what a woman was wearing when she was sexually assaulted, which I think is so gross. And it's like, people are almost like looking for a reason to say this person isn't a monster or that the rapist isn't a monster. It's like, even sometimes same thing with social injustice, like they're trying to find a reason to say, oh, there you go, that's why he was killed when he was unarmed. And
yes,
same type of thing, like, oh, that's why she got raped, look at what she's wearing, like, oh, that explains it, we can all go on our lives now, it makes total sense now. Like, so much weight on what a woman wears, and it's almost like it gives a man an excuse to be a monster. And it's like, oh, well, I mean, a man can't help himself. I mean, she was showing cleavage, you see, like her thigh, her skirt was 4 inches above her knee. Like, of course he was gonna take that as, I want you to have sex with me. I mean, when you show skin, isn't that just what that's saying? Like, taking their personal opinion, or maybe like a woman that is like in the strip club or something like that, and her purpose of having less clothes is to entice a man. So if that's what she does, and apparently every woman on earth, if she's showing skin, it's this unspoken message to come hither. It can't just be because that's just what she wants to wear. And so to see those two things kind of really coming down so heavily on women, it really was a moment that made me want to look more into modesty and what is modesty and where did we get the definition. And, you know, because I don't see anywhere in the Bible that it says a skirt has to be 3 inches below your so like, where is this coming from? And then also just seeing, you know, there are even some people that kind of ridicule certain cultures of women that are completely covered from head to toe. And you know, or even sometimes like the holiness church in the past was ridiculed because women couldn't wear jeans, couldn't wear earrings, and they were ridiculed as doing too much. But then now women that aren't wearing that much aren't wearing enough. And so again, it's this gray, it's this blurriness, like my shirt.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously naked is too much, being completely covered is too much. So who is deciding what is this middle ground?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's so good. So what is your definition of modesty? How does that connect with being a Christian and being a feminist? What have you come up for you? What comes up for you?
Right. So you know what? There was something else I forgot to say. The other thing that I had about the gray, it just came to me.
Yeah, go for it.
I've noticed even within the scripture that there is a lot of like times where people are deciding when they want to put it in historical context. Like when the Bible says he, and we know it means he and she, but back then they only dressed men. Or when it says for the women to be silent, oh, well, that was just the culture of that time, but it's okay to speak now. But then it's sometimes whatever's in the Bible, they take it literally as that's what it meant then and that's what it meant now. Or even like the scripture, we're really gonna go there, like the scriptures and passages that speak about homosexuality. In those same passages, it also speaks about seafood and wearing cotton. But people have honed in on that one and not on, and you're still eating your seafood and wearing your cotton and your linen. So there is definitely a lot of cherry picking. And so I noticed that too. And I'm like, well, why have they honed in on this don't cause your brother to stumble just with women? And you know, a man can post a picture in his swimming trunks and no shirt, and it's like, oh, that's nice, or that's cute, or oh, he's having fun at the beach. And a woman can show a couple inches of cleavage. She actually has on a shirt and she's showing cleavage, and then she's like, oh, she is showing her chest. But this man over here didn't even have on a shirt, you know? And then that goes to, it's like more so catering towards a man and his ability to be strong or not be strong, because women aren't, you know, women's temptation isn't being considered. Like nobody's like, oh, you should cover up, you're gonna cause that Christian woman to stumble looking at you on the beach with your shirt off and your pecs. You know, nobody's ever commenting under a man's picture, you know, if his shirt is too tight and his muscles are bulging, or if his shirt is off, they're like, you know, hey, you should cover that up, you know, you might cause a Christian woman to stumble. Nobody's saying that. It's literally like we are accepted as being stronger. Oh, you know, women don't have those urges and desires, you know, so they don't get the slack. And so then is the question of, is modesty just one-sided? Like modesty is only a woman thing? Are men not supposed to be modest as well? Are men also consider the person stumbling? So that was something that I noticed as well. And back to this question, I really just had to say that part. Like I said, I'm really like,
no, that's very true, because it's like they'll post a picture of them at the beach and it is just about them being at the beach and playing sand volleyball or whatever it is. But if a woman were to do that and she had a beach cover up on and there was a little bit of cleavage, it would be, well, why did you post that? You don't need to, you know.
Oh yeah, she's trying to get attention. Yeah
Exactly.
I can't be going to the beach. No.
Yeah, I can't have fun.
See me.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so yeah, back to that question. What is your definition of modesty? How does this connect with being a Christian and being a feminist?
Thank you for saying it again, because I needed to hear it again.
Yeah.
So my definition came from me basically needing to rely on my personal relationship with God. Like clearly, you know, if I go speak to this pastor or leader, he's going to have one strong opinion about it. And I go to this one, they may have a completely other one. So I realized like I couldn't rely on public opinion or even like leadership's opinion, because it's all different, because it's gray, because in the Bible, it doesn't say what modesty is other than just, you know, try not to cause somebody to stumble. So it's like, well, I have to go to God directly on this one. I have to rely completely on my personal relationship with him, and not so much thinking about what I wear and don't wear to make a man feel comfortable, but more so, how do I feel comfortable in representing myself as a daughter of God and representing myself in my temple. Like I have to completely throw whether Blow Joe or Joe Schmo is going to say, oh, you know, she has some shape and it's making me think things. Like I can't, you know, because even if we go to that, like say back in like the 20th century, where, you know, women were wearing the long skirts out in the West and they weren't even showing their ankles, women were still a temptation. Women were still getting sexually assaulted, and they were like, you know, the baggy white poofy top with the flared out, you know, the look of like the
buttons,
and like it was totally covered, and a man could still be like, oh well, I noticed how her top fell over her chest, or I noticed that she had hips because of how her belt buckled and her waist was cinched. So men are always going to find a way to stumble if they want to stumble. If they have a lust, like a perv is a perv is a perv, and a lustful person is a lustful person is a lustful person, and it's never a situation where, oh, thank goodness she covered up, now I don't lust anymore, you know, because it's a mind thing. And so my definition now came that if I'm not at the house of God, if I'm not at your house, and if I am not standing before you, like speaking to you in a way that you have no choice but to look at me, I am not going to be concerned about you stumbling. Because, obviously, if I'm at your house, I don't need to be dressing in certain things because it's your home and I'm there to be your guest, and you will be looking at me as your guest. So like, I'm not trying to like put certain things on in your face. Obviously, if I'm at the house of God, it's about him. So I'm going to go more than I would normally go to not wear certain things just because I want the attention to be on him. If I am speaking in front of you, obviously, I wouldn't think about wearing something that has a lot of cleavage, because even if you're a straight woman and there is cleavage in front of you, you're going to notice because it's skin and it's there and it sticks out. The rest is straight, and then all of a sudden, whoa, something sticks out. So if I'm like speaking to you, I'm going to be mindful of what I'm wearing because I want you to pay attention to my words and not my body. But if I am in my personal space, if I'm out in public, or if I'm posting on my personal social media and you have the option to flee, I'm not concerned about modesty because this is my space. So if you feel like here is causing you to stumble, you have the power. It's not being forced upon you. It's not a seduction thing because you can just not look. You can just go away. It's not a position where you're being forced, as if it were if we were sitting in a church service together for 2 hours, or if I was speaking to you, or if I was in your home. Those are situations that are forced. If it's just my personal space and I'm out in public, I'm out and about, it's totally going to be on me and what I feel wearing and dressing for the occasion. Because I do believe in dressing for the occasion. As far as just because I can, I'm not going to wear a bikini to go shop in the mall. If a person chooses to do that, hey girl, do you. But as far as me and my personal relationship with God and my conviction, I like to dress for the occasion. And what I choose to wear for the occasion is on me. And even if it's wrong, guess what? It's still not for you. That's God will settle up with me. And trust me, He will settle up with me and be like, hey, or, if there's like friends or spiritual fathers and mothers, and there's people that He is placed in all of our lives to have these conversations. And it's not for the world to say, oh, she's trying to, tempt somebody. So my definition of modesty is definitely dressing for the occasion and doing what's comfortable for me and my own skin, but embracing my body, embracing even my sexuality. Like it's not about anybody else. It's more about like, it has nothing, and people make things about them and how it makes them feel. But sometimes they say it's not about you. This has nothing to do with it. I'm so sorry. This is all me here and what I want to do and how I feel comfortable, what I want to wear. Like, and sometimes you just have to be selfish and like, me and God are cool, and this is what I feel like wearing. I'm gonna wear it, and I'm so sorry that it's causing this reaction in you, but I can't take that on me. I can't. Because you mean you just go crazy. So that definitely has affected my definition. I hopefully that made sense.
Yeah, it does. And I think that's really important to keep it about you and your relationship with God and what those situations are that you've made those choices of, okay, in this situation, this is where I'm gonna press into, doing my own thing. I think it's also important too that you bring up embracing your sexuality too, because that's something that there's so much shame on women towards. And many of my married, friends have talked a lot about, well, I'm married now and I don't feel comfortable doing those things, or dressing a certain way around my husband or things like that, because there's been so much shame placed on them. So it's important as women of God to know that, keeping modesty in mind, but that's still a gift from God. And that's still something that, we shouldn't be shamed for or things like that. So I love that you brought that out. And
our bodies are beautiful.
Yeah, all of the, everything that He's given us as women and as men is a gift. And we shouldn't feel shame about it or feel, that's great. Gets all of that stuff gets really great too. So I'm glad that you said that. Thank you.
Mhm.
What do you say when somebody says that you need to cover up, or if you feel like maybe your stance is being a little bit tested? What's your response when people say that?
Well, I think a lot of times it just depends on who, because some people like, I don't have anything for you. So like, it's like I didn't even see that you said anything because I just don't have any energy to give you. And some people I may thank them for their opinion and for their input, because if they say it in a respectful way, I'm like, thank you for sharing, and maybe ask them if they want to get into a dialogue of why they feel the way.
Mm,
And then sometimes I put the question back on people, as why are you saying that? Because sometimes people just say it because that's just what they have heard, and it's like
like a broken record.
groupthink, and we've all decided that this is bad. But are you even looking into why? Well, why is it not okay to wear a bikini? Why is it okay? Why is it not okay to sometimes let your cheeks show if you're out at the beach or you have on some short shorts? Why is that not okay? And if they might say, oh well, what a man's gonna see when he's gonna be tempted. It's like, well, why is that on me? Why can't he just manage his own temptation? I have to manage mine.
Yeah.
Because we all have different, and even like back to, and I've thought about this too, that stumbling scripture, it doesn't even say that it's all about body and clothes. Like it can be for drinking, it can be for food. So if somebody's trying not to eat bad food, and I post like some fried chicken wings, nobody's commenting, oh, you're causing your brother to stumble that's trying not to eat fried foods. It's like people choose when they want to apply things. So
Yeah.
I think when people would say that, I would say, well, ask why do you
Yep.
feel the way that you feel, or even say, I used to think like you, but I had to search within inside myself, and I'm comfortable with
Yes.
what I'm wearing. And so I suggest that you talk to God about it and see what He says, and ask ask God what He feels about covering up and modesty in this gray area. And I just challenge them. Yeah, that's what I do.
I like that. Yeah. Because we're all on a different journeys and we have different, seasons of life where God might be telling us to go in or to cover up or to just really embrace that modesty so you can get really close and tight knit with Him. And then there might be other times where, there's more, not necessarily freedom, but like it's not so tight reined. I know for me, not just with dressing or modesty, but certain areas of life where yeah. So I love that. Just asking why with anything. Why do you think that? Tell me more.
And he's totally okay with questions. That's the thing. But
yeah,
a really great point, because it's funny, like a lot of people will see me a little more free now, and maybe they think I've always been that way, or she's probably getting a lot of unwanted attention, and maybe that's what she wants and things like that. And not knowing my personal story, and like I didn't even lose my virginity until I was 29. Okay. So like I'm not a person that takes decisions lightly, and I'm not a person that takes modesty lightly. So how are you gonna tell somebody that didn't lose her virginity until she was 29 about, oh well, making sure that you were like considering God's will? Are you kidding me? Like really?
very seriously.
Have that
Yeah.
conversation with me? If I have come to this place, it's with a lot of thought, a lot of prayer, a lot of certainty, because that's just my personality. Like if I've made a decision, it came with a lot of processing first. And so
Yeah.
like going back to what you were saying, I did have a period where I was a little more conservative, a little more modest. And where I am now, I do feel a lot more comfortable in my faith, in my relationship with God, and have a better understanding of what He wants of me, that I do feel free to take a lot more choices. And even like some periods, and maybe people more in leadership, and they feel the personal burden. And again, not what anybody else says, but they feel a personal burden to be a little more modest. So like you said, there are periods that it may call for it, but that goes back to it being a personal thing, because like there was a couple periods where I was an executive assistant for youth and young adult and children's pastor. So maybe I made a choice to be more modest then because I'm around children that are able to make the decision with a lot of knowledge, you know.
Yeah.
So I choose to take on that burden and say, I don't need to dress like this, but I'm going to make that choice. And then when I'm not working for children, maybe then I feel a little more free because now I'm a creative. So I'm all about,
Yeah.
you know, and I express it through my clothes or lack of clothes.
Yeah. 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 That's so interesting. I think a lot for me, like I, in high school, or it's funny, I was just looking back at like Facebook memories of being at the beach. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I'm just wearing a bikini. Why am I not covered up? Like, and it was not about any of, I mean, I was with a bunch of dancers, so none of those boys wanted me, if you know what I mean. They were not interested in my body like that.
Right.
But for me, it was like, I cover up my body because I'm insecure about it. Somebody's going to see something, or at that time I was very busty. And so like, I don't want anybody to see that. And it was all about me, and I don't like my body. And so as I've gotten older, like, no, I trained to have an athletic body, and that I'm not showing it off to like, oh, look at my muscles. No, like I'm blessed with this body, and I don't need to hide it because the enemy says I'm ugly, or, you know, I packed on a few pounds because I'm eating carbs again. Like, no, it's, so for me, I have to take off layers because I was hiding, and that was, you know, that was the enemy for me. So, and then vice versa. There was some clubbing days where I needed to cover up because I was trying to get the boys' attention. So it's seasonal. Yeah.
That's a really great point. I'm so glad you said that it is sometimes a confidence thing. And I think that was probably part of it for me too. And I didn't even think about it until you said it, that when I felt more comfortable in my skin as a person in general, like overall, then I felt more comfortable in, you know, my body. And I've had like a crazy like journey myself, but just becoming more comfortable period has helped me become more comfortable there. And it's also interesting that you brought up, and this is why I'm glad you did it. You brought up the dance thing, and my view of the body has always been a little less, I guess, strict than others because of dance. You know, like,
yeah,
you see it as the vessel that the art is being, like, so we need to see those lines, like,
yes, oh yes,
we need to see that. We can't have too much flaring, like, you know, I want to see the muscle definition, I want to see, you know, that straight arabesque line, and I can appreciate it, like, wow, that is beautiful, man. I'm glad that's not under like a liturgical skirt, because that line is beautiful.
Yes. Yes, that. So I have a student who is in 4th grade at my day job, and her mom came to me and said she's really uncomfortable in these leotards, and she's just really struggling with it. You know, she's kind of growing up a little bit, and apparently some girls are saying mean things. And I just sat that girl down and I said, you know, I'm really sorry, but this is going to keep happening. And if you ever feel uncomfortable, come talk to me, because I'm probably feeling the same way. Like, that's just how it goes. But this leotard is a tool. And in the same way that our dance mirror, it can be something that we use to put ourselves down, or it can be a tool to help us become a better dancer, and to clean up those lines, and to match our friends in the choreography. That's what that leotard is for. It is not for you to point out, you know, your whatever that you're upset about. It's a tool so that we can see and make sure that your rib is not all the way over here. It's in alignment, and that keeps you safe. So that way, you know, if you're wearing a big baggy tank top, I can't see if your spine is curved or straight. And if you keep dancing curved, you're going to hurt yourself. Your back's going to hurt, or your turns won't be, on point or whatever. So, yeah, the dance world. Yeah, we could have a whole conversation about modesty in the dance world and artists and all of that. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's
yeah.
And even like just with me being like, my first degree was in biology, and I was a licensed massage therapist. So like the body being like naked or being like scantily clad has never really been like, because like I'm used to seeing it that way in a scientific world. and my
Yeah.
massage clients are naked.
Oh
I've
yeah.
never really had this great aversion just because of like all those worlds, dance, massage, and science. It requires the body to be exposed. So I've never
Yeah.
been like about that. So that definitely
That
affected me a little bit as well.
yeah, that's such a blessing and such a great perspective to bring into the and into the Christian world. I used to work at a massage uh uh clinic, I guess.
Mhm.
I was just a front desk staff, and I remember just kind of going through that, like, what, people just take their clothes off here and we rub them, or that, like, and it's healing, what? So I learned a lot from that. Wow, Tiff, I didn't realize how many things we have in common.
Oh gosh, no, I didn't know that either. That we'll have to talk
Yeah.
about that as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story and just kind of speaking life into me about modesty and connecting on this. Do you have anything else you want to share with our viewers about modesty, about your birthday, this theme, making lemonade out of lemons?
Sure. Well, I would say first, I'm glad that you were able to get something out of it too.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm really glad that you were the person. I really enjoyed this, and I really feel like I got everything out. So thank you for
Good.
creating a comfortable space for me to do so. And
Yeah.
well, I would just encourage people to, whether they have felt like contamination in their Christian journey in another way, to just dig a little deeper and don't use it as a reason to turn away from the faith. If
Yep.
Christianity is your faith of choice, remember why you did it, and don't let uh, the contamination be what turns you away from it. Like, don't let
Yes.
that be the reason. Like, I'm sure there are other reasons, but don't let that be the reason. So just dig a little deeper, and don't let people's personal insecurities or personal convictions make you feel bad about yourself. A lot of times people project, and when you said that
Yep.
word earlier,
Yep.
I was like, yes, that's a perfect word. So that's the advice I would give. And just women, love your bodies, embrace your bodies. Don't let a man feel like anything is your fault. If you are not pushing him down and getting him drink the drugs and like in his face with your body, don't let anybody make it feel like it's your fault. They're supposed to
Yeah.
be the stronger being, but then we all of a sudden have the power to make them do things they don't want to do. Either you're the leadership and the stronger being and the head gender, or you're not. You can't like conveniently be all weak and helpless, you know, and
Yeah.
oh, apparently I guess I'm a stronger being if I have that much power over you.
Yeah.
So
All you
don't,
need is a little skin.
right. So just
Yeah.
don't take a lot of people's, just kind of try to let it roll off of you, because it can be like a thing. It can become anxiety, or just like women just don't want to love their body at all, because it's almost like they feel like their curves are like um synonymous with sin. And that is a horrible thing
Yeah.
to feel. And even for women that are more voluptuous, do your best, but you have to realize at a certain point, you're not going to be able to hide everything. And don't feel ashamed of your curves. Don't be ashamed of your body. It's beautiful. If you were looking at this, it is beautiful.
Yes,
So please
ma'am.
love yourself and love your body. Um, May 20th, and Lexie was able to be assistant DP first round. And
Yes.
so she's a part of the family of this project. May 20th, 4 p.m. on YouTube and Instagram TV. I'll be releasing a project on my birthday. It would be the greatest birthday
Woo!
gift for me if you could mark your calendars and watch, share, like, comment. And the project is talking about self-love. And that's the first clue that I've dropped. So this is exclusive.
Yay.
It is a visual about self-love. So I encourage everybody to watch it and subscribe to YouTube, MsDevotedtiff, and follow me
Yep.
on Instagram, MsDevotedtiff, because that's where I typically share my creativity. So thank you very much.
Yes, yes. And to everybody out there watching, please make sure you do subscribe to her. I was just peeked in a little bit on this project. I wasn't able to be at the second shooting day. Tiffany works so hard. She takes care of her people that come alongside her to make her projects happen. She's extremely organized and well thought out. And she did not just throw this together. She worked very hard on it. And I believe you worked for like years on this, right?
2 years, yeah.
Yeah. So this is not just like oh, hey, I had an idea, let's all get together and like pop up and whatever. So Tiffany is MsDevotedtiff. This girl is the real deal. And thank you for bringing me into your birthday celebration. I really do appreciate it. And I look forward to supporting each other more in the future.
Yes, you know it. Thank you guys.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.